cup of coffee, then I'll go. Thought that
Good morning and welcome back to the channel Grand Colombia, and welcome to Coffee Time Live every Sunday at 11, except of course when it's not. You notice I got all the lighting on this week. I remembered. Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Phil, Dennis, and Doc from Western Kentucky. Reese, good morning. Haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here. Glenn, good morning, West Palm Beach, right near where Rob is. Mike, hello, Mike. William, see you in a couple weeks. Good morning. Got all the regulars here. Well, we haven't gotten Helsinki to comment yet. Okay. Those are my professional notes for today, but there's a lot of them and it's kind of small print. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. But first of all, the weather. I don't know if you can hear this. It's raining. It's raining in the morning. It's been raining pretty regularly, as I talk about all the time, in the afternoon and evenings, or in the evenings, if you're going to go out in the afternoon, take your umbrella. But today is one of those rare days where it's raining in the morning. But it's okay. Here I am. I only show up to find out where Coleman is. Yeah. Exactly. Yes, the babe with the blue eyes. Yeah, it just does something to me. What do we got? Okay, today's show, I'm going to try to keep it under an hour because it's NFL kickoff. I know a lot of people have sworn off football. Personally, I kind of have, but I still try to catch a Bills game. Fortunately, I'm a fan of a team that hasn't kind of gone off the deep end of this craziness. Of course, where they're located, people I don't think would tolerate it very much. It's not like it's the 49ers. Sorry, Reese. So I mean, they're keeping politics out of it, and they're pretty much sticking to football, and I'm glad for that. So let me get through these notes. Private videos coming up. I'm going to try to do it today. I've had the most unbelievable string of bad luck, and to the point where I'm actually going to do a video. Of course, I'm not here, but it'll be on the private channel, Sane in Colombia, and you're not going to believe it, but it's all true. And as a matter of fact, I've got the notes, I've got my outline for it, and I've outlined a dozen things, and those are only the major things, not listing all the little things. I've had a whole bunch of major issues go off the rails. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to do a video probably in the next day or two. I've done the outline. I've had the outline done for a while, but I don't know, it's a working title, Incompetence or Deliberate Treason. You be the guess. Past week, I've been trapped in the house this past week. As you know, I moved into this new house, and well, it's got a lot of pluses. It was run down by the last people, and frankly, I way overpaid for here. I'm aware of it. Stupid me. I told you some of the reasons that relate entirely to me. The one thing I didn't mention is the 300 megabyte Wi-Fi, which I'm running on, is only available by one service, and it's only recently come to Armenia. Now you can get fairly fast. You can stream TV without any problem. I was doing video on much slower, but everything just goes nicer with the fast. And the thing is, this house has this service available, and a ton of places don't. A couple places that I actually would have chosen had they had this internet available. And I really didn't want to go backwards. This is a big part of my living, my living as in my life. So, I didn't want to go backwards. But why was I stuck in the house? Well, I was waiting for maintenance men to come here and then hang out while they were doing things like fix the oven that wasn't working, fixing the intercom telephone that I don't know what happened to it, just decided to quit. The hot water heater, all of a sudden, they came and put new cabinets in the bathroom. Next thing I know, I got cold showers. I don't know. So I had to wait for that, where they tore everything apart and rebuild it. And I guess they got some kind of crap in the lines. I don't know. Fixed. But one of the downside is I was planning a trip to a coffee farm and do a video this past week, and I rescheduled it twice and gave up because another day I couldn't drive my car because I got the pico y placa, where one day a week you can't, you can only drive within certain hours. It's some traffic control thing. On the upside, on the good news side of the ledger, I fixed my car. The car that went to two different mechanics who couldn't fix it. They both had it for weeks. I went out when I had time in my patio, my carport, whatever you want to call the thing, and fixed it. But hey, I spent 40 years doing that kind of stuff. So, I should have done that to begin with. But you know what? I come in the house, my hands were dirty. I hate that. I just got so over that. But the car is repaired. I think there's nothing left except it really needs to get washed. I mean, it's just nasty. And when I went in there to work on it, I had to fight through some spider webs. I left the windows down. Anyway. Old dependable, my Samsung S8. And you can't see it, but the screen's all smashed to hell. And it's all broken up on the corners, on this corner, on that corner. It slipped and fell one more time, and it went to a green screen, a flashing green screen. And I scoured the internet, and it's basically some serious repair needs to be done. Plus the glass is broken. It just, there's so many things. And so I went on the internet to search for a cheap phone and hopefully an upgrade. That's an S8 Plus. I figured, well, maybe I can get an S9 Plus. And I did. I found one that has on the back a slight crack. It's a dealer that had great ratings. It was through Mercado Libre. And he's batting 100. He sells a lot of cell phones. And he described it very well and came and it was exactly as he said, but the function is not impaired. It's like a brand new phone. And I got it for 540,000 pesos, which is under $200. I don't know. You guys figured out, what is it, 150 bucks? And I told him the situation, and I got that phone, I think the fastest of anything I've ever gotten. He's way up north of Santa Marta. I got the phone in 2 days. Really happy. 4 days earlier than it was supposed to come. So, big thank you for the kindness there. You didn't have to do that. So I'm back in business with a cell phone. But, I have to tell you that the cell phone dependency has really snuck up on me. I don't mean dependency as in just having contact, but I didn't realize until I lost that cell phone for a week how much it's kind of infiltrated our lives. I can't verify with the bank. I can't verify various apps. Um, you've got digital financial apps like I use Rappi, and I transfer money into it every month, and I use that for a bunch of things, pay my bills. Um, you've got PayPal, you got Necky, but Rappi is the one that I really use. And guess what? Without a cell phone, I can't use it. So I had money sitting in there that I would normally do things with, and I couldn't reach it. I mean, it's like, what has been going on the last 2 months with this money thing? you know, God wants me poor. I mean, it's really aggravating, but it's something to think about. The cell phones have become more than a useful communication tool. You can't function in a lot of ways without it. Now, a lot of you probably know that, but I just been kind of living my life and doing my thing, and I haven't really paid much attention to that. And I don't know. It's one more thing I need to come up with a solution for. That and how the banks are operating, where you now have to have a phone in your name in the USA, if you're from the USA, to verify things. I used to use Magic Jack, no longer works. And when people were saying it didn't work, mine was still working, but it stopped working this year. And so that's a serious problem. So do I have to get a cheap throwaway cell phone and pay a subscription every month from the USA just so that I can use that a couple times a year? I don't know. I might have to. It's really, really hurt me, these things, the last few months. It's not been fun. What else? Oh, one day I did manage to go for a walk. I didn't videotape it because I went to a place where I videotaped so many times, I just couldn't think of any reason to videotape it. But I had an ATM issue. See my private channel, where the ATM ate some money, and I had to go to the bank and got in an argument with somebody in the bank, and then the manager, he straightened everything out. But so I was in the Parque Fundadores area, and I was walking around there, and I walked up to the old Bolivar Commercial Central. I've done some videos there. I just kind of strolled around, and it was nice to get out and about. And the weather was nice. It was a little overcast, which is a good thing because you don't get the sun beating down on you. Now, let's see, what is it? Oh yeah, the last thing, and we'll get to some questions, and I read some comments here. I did discover something pretty cool. I discovered a car wash. And this car wash is at the gas station on the corner. Those of you familiar with where I'm living, there's you go up to the main street, and to the right you've got the mall that I was living behind. And to the left, you've got a bunch of little tiendas and little commercial operations, like financial. And you've got Super Inter, big supermarket. And down on the corner, it's a roundabout, but the roundabout corner, you've got a gas station. Well, behind that gas station, there's a car wash. So I was walking up the sidewalk, coming up to the gas station to turn right to come home. And the guy was there washing the car, and just out of curiosity, I said, hey, it's like you doing this commercial. Yeah, that's what I do. Okay, what do you charge to do inside and out? And 50,000 pesos. That's like $12, $13. It's like, are you serious? And he was doing a hell of a job. I'm guessing, I watched for a little bit. I'm guessing it was probably a 3-4 hour investment he was putting into that vehicle. for that kind of money. And I know they're there all the time. I just never stopped to, to ask them about it. So that was quite amazing. Okay, let's get to some questions here, if we have any questions. I can see 49ers Stadium and training camp from upstairs. Sorry, disappointed face. Good morning from Ibague, Tolima, Colombia. Good morning. How's the weather there? It's been pretty toasty, pretty warm and humid, I would imagine. I was stuck in a house in El Paso for 2 weeks for the same reason. Fixing it up, rental, backup. Yeah, it's El Paso in Texas. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating, It's not only boring, but it's like you just want to get out and do something, and you feel like you're trapped, kind of like quarantine. Good morning, Lauren. Hope you're doing okay from West Palm Beach. I am doing okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Please put a protective case on the newest phone. Yeah, I had one on the other, and it's pretty good. The problem is it's been dropped. It's been dropped so many times. It's got this condom style, and it's the exact same size as the other phone, but the layout's a little different. So I just had to cut out for my fingerprint. I don't know if I'm muffling my voice. So I cut that out, and it's working pretty well. Tomorrow I'll go and get the screen cover. That actually has some of the most protection. And the problem with this phone is this last time around, I think, is because of that screen cover. I was actually getting ready to go have the glass replaced, and I pulled the screen cover off because it was peeling. And when I dropped it, didn't have the screen cover on, and it landed on the corner of the glass, and that's when it saw its demise. Now, I've dropped it a few times. They're just slippery. I mean, I don't know what to say. I've dropped it a few times, and the screen cover saved it. So I'll get that one on tomorrow, and it should be okay. Okay, let's see. Greetings from Miami. Are there any requirements for travelers to the USA? You mean from the USA, I'm guessing. The only app you need is the Check MIG. You can look it up, Check MIG. All that just replaces, when you used to fly international, before you got off the airplane, they give you a piece of paper and a pencil, or they'd hand out one pen and everybody had to pass it along to the next person, about why you're there, who are you, like that. Immigration. That's what the Check MIG is. It's just done electronic. It's actually a better way to do it. So you got the Check MIG and your passport. That's it. They don't. Fortunately, they've kind of gotten over a lot of the hysterics, and I think maybe they've realized that you can panic and go through hysterics, or you can just kind of ease up on things, and the outcome is virtually identical. So things are not too bad. Magic Jack still working in Cuenca. Is this an issue just there? No, Magic Jack is working here too, but it is not working with your bank. It's not about Magic Jack. It's the banks. I think there's a few outlying banks that still haven't switched over to this new system, but it's an actual law, and they all will be. The first ones to go were the big banks, Chase and Capital One, and a bunch of, Wells Fargo. But they will all be on this system. It's not about Magic Jack. It's about the bank will send a code, for example. And if it goes to a number that is not the type of number that it's supposed to be, like a VoIP or internet phone, Magic Jack, then you won't receive that code. And that's what it is. So they could say, okay, we're going to give you access, but look at the code on the number you provided us and then type it in. But the code never comes. I can't use the Zelle in Capital One to transfer anymore. And as recent as a few weeks ago, I was able to use it, and then all of a sudden one day it just stopped working. So no, it's not okay in Cuenca. It's not okay anywhere. It's just it's how it is. My Capital One or my Magic Jack still works. It just doesn't work for what I need it to do. I mean, if I'm not going to be getting these codes, then I actually have no use for it. Lena's been helping me with my Spanish online, doing a great job. I recommend her for anyone who needs to improve, brush up on their Spanish. Yeah, I don't mention that often enough. I was still getting over the flu. I was invited out, and Lena and her boyfriend were going to be there, and I just wanted to get this completely out of my system. The flu, which I think I have. My voice is still a little, excuse me, but you notice I'm not blowing my nose. And last week was pretty nasty. I'll tell you that Ivor, whatever, really kicks the heck out of a flu. No place to affix a weather cam in the new house. Not really. If you saw what I have out this window is about as ugly as you can get. I've got the backside of other houses, and maybe I could point it up at the sky, but no, not really. I do have my second camera still operating though. Check this out. There it is. That's the other side of this my desk here. It's actually a table. It's a kitchen table that I've modified. I've been using my sister's phone in the US to receive verification codes. Are you saying that doesn't work anymore? No, if they've had it and it's working, you should be okay. But I tried to switch to a phone from somebody that I knew, and it said it wasn't in your name. It wouldn't accept it. I think if it's already been like that, it continues like that. But if you stop doing that and then you try to go back to it, I think it may be problematic. Now, if they're the same last name, I don't know. I don't know all the nuances. I just know that I've run into all these problems recently that compounded a simple situation into a major disaster for me. And that's when I found out that there's been some financial law changes, and they've been phasing into effect. Ibagué has been very rainy and cool the past couple of days. Awesome that it's been cool. It's worth getting some rain for that. I would love to go to Ibagué when it's not when it's not roasting your feet when walking down the sidewalk. You need a case with oversized corners. To protected my Samsung. I drop my phone all the time. The issue, I actually had another one that it looked, I don't know how to describe it. It looked beefier. It was beefier, but I keep my phone in my pocket. I keep everything in certain places, and my phone goes in my right front pocket. And that extra thickness kept catching every time I go to pull it out. And the thing is, when I'm walking around, I pull it out all the time, because when I'm out just walking around day to day, that's what I do videos with. It's not the only thing I do videos with, of course. It depends. I do this, but I don't always carry this around. But if if I'm walking around and I see something of interest, I just pull my phone out, because I don't know if you're aware, but Samsung they bypassed Apple. They have the most amazing cameras. And one of the reasons I was interested in upgrading to the S9 Plus from the S8 Plus, they're virtually identical in every way, except the phone is upgraded in the S9. And it's got a whole bunch more features in it that I'd have to use the GoPro for. And now I can do it with the cell phone. So, I mean, the less you have to carry, the easier life is, the better it is, the less apt you're going to have something ripped off. And so, that's part of the trade-off. But, I've had that S8 for, I don't know, a few years, and it served me well. And, it just, they just break. So it's just an inopportune time. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a second one. I'll just keep no hurry, but keep looking for some crazy deal like I got this one for, and get it as a backup and go ahead and preset it up with my apps and all of that. And because it was extremely difficult. Samsung allows you to transfer everything from one phone to the other, assuming that you have a screen that functions. Now, when your screen's not functioning, you would not believe how difficult it was. But what it would do is it would take a good screenshot, and I set up on my Windows computer a clone of my phone, which in and of itself was real difficult without the access to the screen. And so I'd take the screenshot, I would look at the screenshot on my laptop, and then I'd hold up the phone and guess approximately where it was I was supposed to press, and I would do that, and I would do that screen after screen. I must have taken 50 or 60 screenshots to get everything set up on this other phone. It was maddening. It was not the easy normal exchange. So I'm thinking about doing that and have a backup that way. Text messages are for identity confirmation. PCR and antigen tests are required to re-enter the U.S. Going in the U.S., you need tests. Coming into Colombia, you don't. Jane, got it. Thanks for the explanation. Hearts, you're most welcome. So think about that. We all have to think about that. We need to find alternative ways to do what we've been doing. I used to pride myself in having backups to everything. So if something happened, it's like I didn't skip a beat. And a couple times over the last 6 years, I would call on that. It was very bulletproof. I mean, it worked great. And then these last 2 months, it just, like I said, it takes a bad problem and turns it into a nightmare. My last 2 months, Okay. I wonder if credit unions will have the SM code issue too. It's a good question. Credit unions may very well be exempt from this, but I don't know. I really don't know. So far, my expat-friendly credit union is okay. Yeah, well, keep in mind, though, that there are banks there's still time before they have to roll over. I don't know what the incrementation is based on, but I know that it exists. It wasn't like we came to a date and all the banks had to comply on that day. They have a period of time, and I believe it was about a year, and we're on the tail end of that. So if you haven't had it, it doesn't mean it's not coming. And honestly, my guess is that some credit unions might be exempt, but probably most are going to be considered the same type of financial institution. It's a real challenge being an expat dealing with U.S. financial institutions. Policies do change over time. Yeah, it's some things you just don't want to say on this channel. Reese, yikes. George, good morning. Good morning to you. Uh, Pat Venter, I'm traveling to Bogota tomorrow. What do I need in terms of COVID? Don't have it, don't catch it. But I mentioned a few times today and last week, and you don't need any kind of testing to come into Colombia. Doc, I had COVID-19, so I need a letter from health department verifying a positive test that I was clear from quarantine. I returned from Bogota last month. Let's see. 50% of Colombians are vaccinated. You may be mandated to stay in Colombia. Would you take the vaccines? Well, first of all, I have no intention of leaving Colombia. I've had a few opportunities and not interested. And there's no reason for me to get a vaccination. I've already proven out that one, I had it, so I had the antigens, but two, that my immune system is up to the task because it was no more than a different symptoms slightly, but it was no different than having the flu like I had last week. And so it's poppycock. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So no, I have no intention of doing it. Now in Quindío, we're running over 70% vaccinated. And I haven't seen anybody running around with three heads. And here, they don't really hide reports. It's interesting, some of the stuff that you see on news. So I actually have a certain amount of faith in the Quindío news operation that I show you guys from time to time. I looked today, there was nothing of interest there, but you know, when you're living in a safe place, it can be kind of boring too when it comes to the news. Although the University of Quindío just won a national award of being one of the highest quality educational services in Colombia. So I guess that's pretty cool. Coleman, there you are. Hello. Where are you? You got people waiting to see where are you this week. I have Wells Fargo. It started this month, and a Zelle could not be sent without. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's sad but true. And thank you for verifying that. Some people think I pull this stuff out of the air. I don't know, but I tell you because it's real. And I guess recently I had some messages from somebody who wanted to argue with me about it. It's like, well, go argue with yourself. It's real. If you don't want to admit it, or just because your bank didn't do it, I mean, you don't get a special trophy for that. It will be doing it. I mean, it is a reality. You'll groan, but having a local bank account with a reserve of living money is very effective backup. No, I won't groan. I've considered it. It's problematic for me. I've explained why, but it may be easier for me to figure out a way around that being problematic than by experiencing what I just went through. I don't ever want to go through what I went through again. I was down to the wire, and I didn't know if I was going to be living on the street. I've expressed to you some of the issues. I never expressed to anybody how bad it actually got. And again, I can't thank Rob enough for saving me, and for other people stepping up and offering. Problem is, other people who are offering, with the exception of one, Victor, we could have done something, but Rob and I were already talking. The other people who were helping fell into a lot of what this was, and so even if they wanted to send me a free $1 million, if I can't access it, it doesn't matter. So so there was that. So no, I won't groan. I'm thinking about it. I may end up with a bank account at Davivienda, because if it's that bank, it's because a number of things that I do involve that bank. Like when I pay rent, I pay it through that bank. Rappi is, that's their base bank of operations. There's just a number of things. I pay my my health insurance, through that bank. So, I may end up doing it, but I have to figure out how to, I have to, although lately with YouTube not sending me any money and basically surviving off the contributions, it's greatly diminished. I don't know that I have to worry about, $100 a month in the Colombia system. So I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. But nope. Might be all things change. Might be a viable opportunity. Yeah, everybody's gonna jump all over me. Coleman, I'm still in it. What? You haven't got? There must be a woman involved. Still in Ukraine. Stay away from Chernobyl. Pro tip. Yeah, that is in Ukraine, isn't it? Okay, what time is it? Well, we're doing pretty good. I do want to stop for those that mention, they want to go see football. So we'll give it another, 5 or 10 minutes. If we got questions, then we'll go for it. Yes, there's a gorgeous woman involved. So the door's not completely shut on that. Oh, what do we got here? Hi, my friend Xavier, Colombian from Switzerland. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing way better than last week. I hope I'm past the nightmare scenario and I can actually start settling into my life. Chad came back to visit. He's here. We were supposed to hook up the other night, and I just wasn't up for it. Chad, if you're watching, I do have a handyman that'll fix that door lock, and I'll get you that today. Marshall Powell, okay. It's a good question. I've been so wrapped up in my issues, I really haven't been talking to anybody outside of my immediate circle, and I haven't said anything to him in a while. And last I saw, he did a video where he was near the border. Not the best place to be. Where he was. He's back a little bit from the worst part of it, but there's not what I mean. I would, if he were to ask me, I would have said, hell no. No, there's some places you just don't go. You just don't tempt fate, and it can be very serious there. I hope he's okay. He always has a circle of people around him. He makes friends easily. It's funny for being he's a pretty shy guy, but I think his attitude about things, he's just humble and he's just very nice. He's a kind person, and people gravitate to him. And so, hopefully he's got that there that'll keep him out of trouble. It's been like 3 weeks since he posted. Yeah, actually, I'm glad you mentioned it. I'll, shoot off a message to him and see what's up with him. Marshall is back in Portland. Oh, awesome. I remember he said something about he was going to be going back to the U.S. for a while, but he never, you never know what his plans are going to be because he tends to shoot from the hip. So that's good. So I'll shoot off a message to him anyway, see how he's doing and what's up. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's probably posted up on his Facebook or YouTube page, and like I said, I've just been wrapped up in my own world with my own affairs. I've had a lot of good things happen, a whole bunch of horrendous things, and it's all I can do to dig out. Okay, last call for questions. Do we have anything? So Do you like this lighting? I think this lighting is pretty awesome. Oh yeah, and another thing. I haven't had my hair cut in a while. Kind of laying flat because I put this hat on after I got, not long after I got out of the shower, and it kind of flattened it down, but it's getting kind of unkempt. I don't know. Maybe we'll see how it goes. Uh, did you play guitar? Well, I like the way you phrase it. Did I? Yeah, I did. A long time ago, I played in a little band. And through my life, I carried guitars around a lot of my travels, and I just kind of ended up moving away from it. The last time I really played much guitar was when I had young kids, and they would tell stories, and I would put it into these crazy songs and act like a maniac. And I really haven't played that much. Occasionally now I'll pick it up and see, just see how much I've forgotten. And so I would say today I don't really play guitar, and my ability is fallen way, way down. But I don't know. I've always had a guitar around, and I explained how I got this one last week. And so I'll keep this one just more sentimental. But if I didn't have this, I'd probably go out and buy one. I did in Ecuador. I went out and bought a Yamaha guitar, and when I left Ecuador, I gave it to a friend of mine who was trying to learn guitar. Good morning from smoky Eastern Washington, Mike. Good morning. Looks very professional, your background and the hat and the guitar. The hat. I don't know how professional the hat is, but it's definitely a real Colombian hat. A genuine, legítimo aguadeño. Tejido a mano extra fino. Okay, suggested band name, Lauren's Locos. It was about that bad. Life with David made a video before he disappeared, stating he wouldn't be posting many further videos because he's concentrating in other endeavors. Yeah, I think people don't realize it's how difficult it can be doing videos on a regular basis. I mean, even just doing these every Sunday, it really is difficult. It starts off, it's not that bad, but it alters your life in a lot of ways. And I've been doing these, we're right around 6 years now, and I don't want to stop doing them, but I've had to allow life to come first. So Glenn, didn't see this. Glenn, thank you for your formative weekly broadcast. Glad you're feeling better. I visit Colombia every few months and enjoy exploring new places. Armenia is on my list for November. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you, I appreciate it. It's very generous. And if you're anywhere around Armenia, stop and say hello. Yes, I charge for certain things, and it's well worth it. If you're looking to learn about this area as a prospective place to live, or you're moving here to live, then the outrageous money that I charge you, it is well worth it, and it saves you far more than you pay me. I make sure of that. And I also make sure that, we only do that up to 3 days. At that point, you've got enough good information and contacts. I can transition you over to people that'll be helpful at a very low cost. Having said all that, it doesn't mean I'd still meet people for, a cup of coffee, or I'm not a mercenary. It's just that I've got something very valuable, and I don't give it away because I need it. So, so we've got a bit of business going on. So, Where can I buy the Grand Colombia coffee cup? Also, where is the best coffee shop in Armenia? I'll be there in November to explore. You are welcome. Okay, Grand Colombia Coffee Cup. Go to the grandcolumbia.live site, which it's, well, where is it? Over here. There it is. grandcolumbia.live. And it'll come around again. There we go. Right there. And look at tab at the top. If you're on a laptop, it'll say merchandise. And if you're on a cell phone, you have those little bars and you open up for menu and it'll say merchandise. And you go there, and there's two companies actually. One is kind of quick and easy, and that's the first or the left one, depending on the format. Mark, good morning from Houston. Just seeing that. And the other, it'll be the second or the lower one, and there'll be cups there also, a few different designs. I think my personal favorite is the Coffee Time, like the logo up there. But I've also got the Grand Columbia. I've got a Coffee Time with live on it. So that's where. Best coffee shop in Armenia. You know, who's your favorite child? It depends. It depends on the situation. One of my favorite coffee shops, and I won't necessarily say it's the best, although it's damn good, is at Parque Fundadores at the southern end of the park. There's a little area, outdoor area, that's got a couple coffee shops, and COVID's kind of messed it up, but they had a place that you could get wings and little snacky things. So you go up there and you have a seat, and I don't remember the name, but there's a coffee one on the end and the next one in. The next one in is I love to get a mochaccino from them, kick back and watch the world go by. I really enjoy that one. One of the more interesting ones that's coffee information intensive is Cafe Candio, right next to or in the front of Parque de la Vida. It's high priced for here. It's not high priced, you know, from where you are. It's considered to be very upscale, but it's very good, and you can have coffee made for you. I mean, they'll do it. They'll do a pour over. They'll do a mocha pot. They'll do, you name it, they can do it. It's kind of technical. They have a lot of information there if you're interested in coffee. I don't know. Those are a couple. I would say my place, but lately my coffee's kind of sucked. Going through the move, I had a problem with the machine that I'm using. So, you know, I'll get it dialed back in. Right now, if you come and I give you a cup of coffee, I didn't even have one this morning. It kind of sucked. And when things will settle down, I'll go back and I'll start experimenting again. Reese, for some reason, my chat on the screen thing quit working. So I'll just close that out. Hope to take you up on your services towards the end of the month. I'll be busy from the 23rd to the 27th of this month, and from the October 2nd to October 4th. So from the 23rd, 3 days inclusive, picking up at the airport, bringing back. The 26th, picking up at the airport, bring back, but that's 2 days, at least as it stands now. October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, pick up at the airport and bringing back. I think 2 of those 3 are actually moving here. We like Cafe Candio. Yes, pricey for Colombia. Yeah, but it's really good. You go to the mall and there's a Juan Valdez. It's actually very good. Just because it's a big name, a worldwide name, doesn't mean it's not good. It's big for a reason. Now, between the two, I actually prefer Cafe Candio. But Cafe Candio has so many, obviously they focus on Condeo, and they've got these agreements with all these coffee, like co-ops, and so they must have 20 or 30 different varieties you can choose from, different farms, and they're all different. They have different notes to them, and it's kind of interesting if you want to go into that deep dive. I did with the executive from Cafe Candio, the interview I did a couple years ago with him, and he walked me through some of that. It was pretty interesting. I'm not that coffee crazy. I just love a good cup of coffee once a day. Didn't have one yesterday either. That ought to tell you something. Okay, Cafe Candio has AC. Yeah, in the afternoon that can be useful. Bought 3 bags of Cafe Candio at the Cali airport before returning. Best. Yeah, it depends. The one I like the least is their most popular. It's the gourmet. Um, it's a gourmet blend, and I think it's one of their more expensive ones. Although they've got a couple that are very rare. They only come out like once every year or two, and they're very small batch and sought after, and a lot of times they're spoken for because people here have become fans too. Um, so yeah, all these repairs you're doing, where's the landlord? He's the one that's paying for it and sending people. Which is pretty cool because I've actually met a few new sources. So if, for example, one handyman's busy, then I know another. And it's not just knowing them. I mean, it's easy to know handymen. It's knowing who's competent. I kept an eye on these guys. I watched what they were doing, how they were going about it. One of the guys that was here, I wouldn't hire him to change my shoes, but he got it done. It took 3 times longer than it should have. It was haphazard. There's issues with it, but it won't affect me. Just didn't do a very good job. That's the cabinets in the bathroom. Uh, some of the other things were really good, and I was very impressed with their work ethic. So I'm going to add one of those to my list. Um, Better coffees I've tried. Just checking before I start contributing on the Grand Columbia Live site. The Facebook contribution I was making is now canceled. You mean YouTube? Yes. That was canceled a few months ago. I think you mean the YouTube one, because I've never had a Facebook one. But the YouTube membership, the monthly thing, or anything that you did like on live, gone. This is a different one, so it's not integrated, although it has some real advantages. It's done better than YouTube. Plus, YouTube was scarfing like 40%. So everything that you would send me, they're grabbing 40% of it. The one on my website, they take it's actually a bank, and they take a transaction fee like a credit card, and even then it's kind of low. I think it's like 2.5 or 3%, which I think is very reasonable for any kind of transaction like that. So anything that you contribute there, you're not supporting the big megalithic. I posted up on my private channel yesterday another YouTuber. I took a clip out of it was so well done, so succinct, and so passionate. It's only about a minute or so, talking about what's going on with YouTube and how random it is and how ridiculous it is. So I posted it up on my site. I took the time to edit it out and put it up there because it was just so well done. I would message you to make a reservation. I'm interested in finding a very nice small apartment, studio. Easily done. Studios, I steer away from, go with 1 or 2 bedroom. The thing is, you can get a 2 bedroom real cheap, very nice in a great location, And why not have that little bit extra space? Maybe you have a visitor. You never know what's going to happen. Having free space, not so bad. I'm not sure I'd return to North America with bags of anything from Colombia. Latex glove allergy. Yeah, YouTube. Yeah. YouTube shut me down. They canceled everything. My finances with them, getting paid for videos, advertisement, everything. They've excluded me for life. And that's what they said. I can't open another account. I can't open another account in somebody else's name. I'm banned for life. Not from making videos, because I've never gotten a strike on me for videos, but they pull videos down occasionally because maybe I complain about a mask or something. I don't know. But I've never violated their terms of service, but they canceled me financially anyway. Just get on Rumble. I'm on Rumble. Rumble sucks. I hate to say it. I want to love it. I'm on it. And I've been putting videos up on there. But Rumble sucks. If you're viewing, it's okay. But if you're on this side of it, it's archaic. It's antiquated. It doesn't function very well. I don't know another way to say the same thing again. It's believe me, I want to love it. And I've been, I'm on actually a whole bunch of platforms. I'm on D Live, on Odyssey, all kinds of things. But as much as I hate YouTube, they've got most of their software together. William, thank you. Get the spider webs out of the car before I arrive. Absolutely. I will be doing that. Thank you. I really appreciate that. For some reason, I'm hearing about more robberies where scopolamine is involved since COVID, but not sure how accurate this is. They've been going on forever, particularly in Bogota. That's a favorite in Bogota, but it also happens a fair amount in Medellin. Does not happen here. It's why, if you're a thief, why would you come to Armenia? It's like there's almost no gringos here. A handful of us. Your targets are in Medellin and Bogota. That's where you're going to score. Especially because they can put women in the mix and lure you, like that. Yeah, it's not good. On the rise. I think crime in general is probably on the rise throughout the world. When you're crippling people financially, they got to do something. Okay, we're coming up on an hour. We're going to end it here. Again, William, thank you. Glenn, thank you. I appreciate it. To everybody that has been there with me for all this time, which is many of you, I greatly appreciate it. I'll be here next week. Be ready with some questions. If I don't have any great news topics, I'm going to try to get to the coffee plantation. I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks, but I hope you can understand it's hard to do a video when you don't have any money or a place to live. So, okay. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. We're going to end it here. Let's get ready for some Buffalo Bills football. Ciao. Now we'll end it.